Our last speaker this evening is Mr. Paul Ngotho, who is a chartered arbitrator, full-time arbitration practitioner, author, and tutor. He is also has arbitrated a wide range of disputes, including real estate, construction, engineering, shipping, and joint ventures in ad hoc and administered arbitrations. He is a regular speaker in arbitration conferences in Africa and abroad, and we have the pleasure of hearing him tonight. Round of applause for Mr. Paul Ngotho.
Thank you very much. I count myself greatly honored to be speaking to all of you, and particularly to be speaking after senior counsel has spoken. I take it that the organizers were confident that I might have something to add, something useful to add. I happen to be the holder of Head of State Commendation, HSE, which I proudly put after my name. And when opportunity arises, I remind people that the H is silent. What they make of the remainder is up to them. I'll start by telling you a little story, but before I do, Lady Justice Aluch and her husband have been leveraging their networks, and they extracted from me before I left my chair that I would be very quick. So I'll cut my presentation because I have got just about 10 minutes. And Victoria, please feel free to alert me if I go beyond 10 minutes. Tomorrow is a working day, and so we should mind the time. But I'll tell you a story about a mosquito called Amos. Amos saw a very beautiful lady and wanted to talk to her. But he was a bit shy, so he waited up to night when she was asleep and went to her ear, and they had a chat at night. So she asked, "Who are you?" He said, "I am Amos." "Amos who?" "Amos Quito." "And what do you want?" And he said, "I want to marry you." Then she said, "You are so thin. What makes you think I could marry you?" So a mosquito went away very disappointed that night, but he never gave up. Every night, even today, he visits her and goes to the ear just when she's about to sleep and tells her, "Bado niko." And networking is a lot to do with telling people who you are and reminding them what you do. Give people so many of your business cards until one day they realize, "God, I have like 10 cards from Paul Ngotho." What they do with those cards is up to them. As I said, I am cutting out a lot of what I was to talk about. I'll just limit myself to just a few talking points. One is business cards. Please take out your own business card, along with any business card you have received tonight. Networking event, take out your own card or any you have received tonight. what does it say about you or the person who gave you that card? For advocates, they like saying advocate, notaries public. I don't know who cares at all about notaries public. That's prime real estate. Why write you are notary public? Does anybody care? Well, yeah, it's in the act. I know there is an act of parliament about notaries public. How much money does an average advocate earn in a year as a notaries public? Oh, I'm told a lot. I'm told a lot. Okay, good. Now, I would like you to tell me if there is a single card which says arbitrator or mediator. Raise your hand. I'm not talking of qualifications in arbitration. I'm talking of a card which says Paul Ngotho or so and so, arbitrator, mediator. Please raise your hands if you are holding such a card. On the card, I'm not after qualifications, I'm after the word arbitrator or mediator on the card. Please raise your hands. Eunice Lumalas, arbitrator. Jerry Karaoke, it's in your card. Wonderful. Dr. Mutubwa identifies himself as arbitrator. Yeah? Anyone else? Okay, tell me about your own passport. I'm sure many of you have got passports. What profession do you identify yourself as on your passport? Anyone saying you are arbitrator or mediator on the passport? Great. Jerry identifies herself as arbitrator or mediator on the passport. Probably just Jerry and myself in this whole room. What I'm saying is we should learn something from Mr. Amos Quito. People believe what you tell about them, especially if it's true. Describe yourself, introduce yourself as arbitrators and mediators. Don't just put your arbitration credentials there. Define yourself, introduce yourself as an arbitrator. Now, your CV. I've had occasions this year to be on 3-member arbitration tribunals. And I was appointed by one party. So along with the other arbitrator appointed by the other party, we were looking for a chair to the tribunal. So we invited arbitrators to give us their CVs for consideration. And most of the CVs we received had a lot of stuff to do with the primary profession. Advocate, represented, won this case, won this other. But even the career mediators and arbitrators did not put enough information about their expertise in arbitration. Allow me to say this. Advocates don't care too much about their CVs. Some are 3 pages, 5 pages maximum, and that's a full profile of an advocate stroke arbitrator or an engineer stroke arbitrator. I revise my CV. I'm not talking about my company profile. I revise my CV every month. Every month. So tonight, I'm going to revise my CV. And to say that on the first day of December 2022, I presented a speech after senior counsel and a former vice president of ICC hard spoken. That is something to add to my CV and many others. So for you also, especially for you who are young in the profession of arbitration, you do not have a lot to say about your expertise, but you could put a line in your CV that today you attended a presentation. Don't say you attended a WADR event. Just say you listened to Lady Justice Alwoche's presentation on bra bra bra. Senior Counsel Ohaga's bra bra bra. And if there is space, now, the other thing is ADR competes with your primary profession on your business card and on your CV. Some people find it prudent to have a different card for ADR work and a different CV for ADR work. That's possible, but instead of that, you might want to have one CV which has a section for your primary profession and a separate section for your arbitration work and a separate section for mediation work. That way, your credentials and expertise in ADR stand out, even though the CV is also talking about your primary profession. Last but not least, websites. I have a designated website which has nothing else but my arbitration work. www.ngotho.co.ke. Nothing else is on that website. Now, for many arbitration practitioners, because they put a lot of emphasis on their primary profession, their ADR work is just like in the CV, mixed up with other things. You might want to have a designated page, if not a separate website, a separate page on your website to show off your arbitration or mediation expertise. With those few remarks, thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.
Amazing. That wraps up session 2 of our speakers. Thank you so much, Paul, on showing us how to leverage our profiles, business card, CV, and of course, other things that advertise our skills. I'd like to recognize some individuals who have joined us really quickly. We have Faith Waigwa, Chairperson of the Public Procurement Administration Review Board. Are you with us? Yes. Thank you. Mrs. Dorothy Jamato of the Energy Board. And last but not least, Margaret Njehia, a clinical psychologist and child therapist who's just getting into ADR. You're here with us. There you go. Welcome. Thank you. So before we get into our gift giving and moving